the pancake without filter. Today we're discussing Face, the novel by Benjamin Zephaniah. A story about identity, stereotypes, and how appearance affects the way people treat you. This topic might sound interesting to all of you, because who is truly happy with the way they look nowadays, especially with social media at its peak, showing us what perfect body is supposed to be.
You're right, Lou. And what will be very interesting about today is that we can analyze this through a professional point of view. We are joined by psychologist Dr. Emily Carter, who will help us to understand the emotional side of Martin's experience after his accident.
Doctor, thank you for being here with us. Let's give her a big applause.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to talk about such an important book. Actually, I've seen a lot of cases similar to Martin's story, so it's very important to have such a good representation of this topic in this book.
Let's start with Martin before the accident. He was what seems to be confident, popular, and very focused on looking cool.
Yes, and he spent a lot of time trying to fit in with his group, which judged people heavily based on appearance and style. When I was reading the book, I realized what being popular meant for Martin and his environment in general. The values they appreciated weren't about being a good person, but about having a pretty face, being disrespectful, getting into trouble, and having friends who were the same.
Doctor, why do teenagers like Martin care so much about appearance?
Because during adolescence, social acceptance feels essential. Young people often believe their value depends on how they look, dress, or behave. When a stereotype is imposed, teenagers will want to follow it no matter what they have to do to feel like they belong. Martin is a clear example of this.
That's right. Martin even got into trouble with a police officer just to make his friends laugh. He didn't show himself the way he really was.
Yeah, remember the first time at Dance Mania? He was thinking about what dance moves to do to look cool, and he lied to everyone about being used to being in clubs.
Clearly, he lived for the others, not for him.
In the novel, everything changes when Martin is involved in the car accident. The fire burns his face and his entire appearance changes.
When he wakes up, he doesn't recognize himself in the mirror. That moment is incredibly emotional. He can't recognize himself. Who is he without his face?
Doctor, how would you describe what Martin experienced at that point?
It's a traumatic identity shock. When someone's appearance changes dramatically, they can feel like they've lost who they were. It's confusing, painful, and frightening. We all identify ourselves for what we look like and know for who we are inside, especially kids and teenagers who don't have their self-image fully developed.
That's when we have to ask ourselves, who am I beside my face? Look at the mirror and try to see more than just physical aspect. How are you feeling? Think about the things you like. Does your face show other life stories?
At first, Martin can't stand looking at himself in the mirror. But how many people who didn't have an accident can do this without being unpleased?
Being honest, I don't like to see myself in the mirror when I'm looking what I think is bad. Dark circles or pimples are not as serious as face burns, but did you ever see a model with this?
After the accident, the way people treat Martin is completely different. Strangers stare at him and some kids laugh. At one point of the story, some kids chase him and shout horrible things.
Oh yes, that chapter is really hard to read. Little kids can be very mean because of their lack of empathy. This is due to their age, but reacting this way to seeing Martin's face is society's fault. We always associate what is stereotypically ugly with something bad, and what is beautiful with something good. All you need to do is watch a Disney movie to notice this. Why are the heroes always perfect and beautiful, while the villains are stereotypically ugly?
Good point, Doctor. Even his friends don't know how to act around him, and some simply disappear from his life. The gang of three are always making excuses, and naturally, Martin's girlfriend starts seeing other boys.
Doctor, why do people react this way when someone looks different?
As I said, society has strong stereotypes about beauty and normality. When someone doesn't fit those expectations, people can feel uncomfortable or even reject them. It's unfair but common.
Martin's life makes a 360 round after the accident. Fake people who only like him because of his looks go away, and we can see who the real friends are. The people who are worth of your time will love you because of who you are inside. Remember, the best relationships are the ones that stay together because of personal values and real love.
The book was written ages ago, but the themes feel even stronger today, especially with social media.
Exactly. Now teenagers compare themselves to filters, influencers, and impossible beauty standards.
Doctor, do you think Martin would have struggled even more if the story happened today?
Yes, today there is more pressure than ever to look perfect. Social media creates artificial expectations, and many young people think their happiness depends on their appearance.
So it's important to stay true to who you are and realize what you see on social media isn't always true. We all struggle and have our own battles. Nobody is perfect.
Before the accident, Martin also spent money on clothes and brands to feel accepted.
It's interesting how the book shows that consumerism encourages teenagers to buy identity instead of building it.
Doctor, why do young people believe that buying things will make them happier?
Because the beauty and fashion industries promote the idea that being cool is something you can purchase, but this usually increases insecurities instead of reducing it.
The idea of achieving beauty with money is something companies promote because it benefits them. You can never reach perfection because there will always be a new product or a clothing item you need to have in order to be perfect.
Martin literally felt more accepted by others if he wore jeans from a specific brand. His mother had bought them for him with great effort. This creates a lot of consumerism in society, using the excuse of reaching the unrealistic perfection shown to us by stereotypes.
I was seeing a woman who was addicted to cosmetic surgeries. She chased her whole body to become what she called perfect, but she would never achieve it because the stereotype kept changing and becoming harder and harder to reach it.
Throughout the story, Martin slowly learns to accept himself again, even with his scars.
He discovers that real friends support him because of who he is, not because how he looks.
Doctor, what is the main psychological lesson we can take from Martin's journey?
That identity is more than appearance. Healing comes from self-acceptance, emotional support, and understanding that your values doesn't depend on your face.
Okay. Doctor, what advice would you give teenagers who feel insecure about their appearance?
I tell them to stop comparing themselves to unrealistic images, to focus on their strengths, and to surround themselves with people who truly care about them.
That really connects with the message of the book. People should be seen for more than their looks.
Exactly. Martin reminds us that kindness, courage, and personality define us far more than physical beauty.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Carter, for joining us today.
And thank you to everyone listening. We hope this episode helps you see face from a deeper perspective.
Join us next time on The Pancake Without Filter.
Bye!
You can never reach perfection because there will always be a new product or clothing item you need.
Perdón, pero Camila me tira miradita por la cámara. Decir el pancake without filter me saca años de vida.
el nombre!
No, porque yo ya lo dije así. To understand the emotional side of Martin's experience after his accident.
No se rían.
¡Se rió nadie!
Martin.
¿Va?
Es plástico, como que la reentendemos.
Grado en Casoa, es el Casoa, eso.
Doctora Casoa.